Hey everyone, as of the making of this video, Viego is still disabled in all competitive leagues, but he's been playable in solo queue for quite some time. So if you were curious as to how big of a splash he's going to make when he is released to the big leagues, we're here to say it'll probably be a pretty big one. This may come as no surprise to some, but for the most part the community has been pretty torn on whether or not he is a good champion. Part of this is probably because his kit might seem lackluster on paper. Part of it is because people were confused on what to build, and also confused as to what role he'd go in. So with all of these things compounding together, why do we think he's a good champion? Well, to start, he's an amazing flex pick. You can lock Viego in early and it can go into one of 3 different roles, making it extremely hard to counterpick. For the video, however, we're going to focus on just Viego jungle, even though his other 2 roles are easily just as good. Second, he's got an insanely fast and healthy clear, on top of really good scaling and strong skirmishing potential early. Usually this combo of things is what makes a champion extremely OP. For example, Olaf, Udyr, and Nidalee, who have all been extremely relevant lately, have good clears and strong skirmishing, but fall off extremely hard. Viego has the best of both worlds and doesn't suffer from the same downside while still having the ups, actually becoming a hyper carry into the late game. Lastly, even if you get far behind, you always have the threat to just take over a teamfight by turning into an enemy champion that is fed, or by killing the enemy tank and becoming a frontliner that can buy space for your carries. We always talk about having options in a game, and Viego probably has by far the most versatile playstyle in the entire game because you can literally become any other champion. As a bonus, he's just really fun, so if you haven't played him yet or were looking for a new champion to pick up for solo queue, hopefully we can convince you that he's the one. His less than 2% pick rate certainly doesn't scream popular, at least not yet. So to showcase him, we're going to be taking a look at the Odd Orange, former jungler for Echo Fox Academy, Team Liquid Academy, and current jungler for Maryville, as he pilots the Ruined King. He's been spamming him in solo queue at a high level to great success, and has said multiple times that he will be picking him in competitive as soon as he's available. Let's jump right into some gameplay to talk about some tips, builds, and general playstyle to help you in your games. In this game, Odd Orange is playing Viego into Nidalee, a champion who normally is extremely strong early, but in this case, so is Viego. So, what is he going to do to shut her down and help get to his superior mid and late game? The answer is always information gathering first. He notices right away that the enemy bot lane comes from his side of the map, signaling that Nidalee started at his blue. With this knowledge, he can come up with reasonable counterplay. Additionally, note how he clears his AoE camps and tries to spread out damage so that all of them die at the same time. Optimizing clear speed, especially on fast farmers like Viego, is critical so that you can take advantage of their quick pacing. So with that in mind, from this point, what should he look to do? If he just kept clearing down here, he would certainly fall behind Nidalee, as he definitely is missing camps from his bot side. So in order to stay even or ahead, he needs to force fights. And this is where the ability to actually skirmish the Nidalee is so important, and why Viego can be so good. He looks to invade the Nidalee, and even without priority from his top lane, is able to significantly chunk her out and get out completely scot-free due to his early strength. Because of Viego's passive being a double hit, he procs Conqueror extremely quickly, and due to this is very hard to fight in extended trades. Couple this with an attack speed steroid, CC, and spammable damage, he's just really hard to deal with. After taking away most of Nidalee's HP bar, he's able to force top crab into bot crab and then continue clearing up at a great pace. Even after losing his blue, he's managing to stay ahead of one of the strongest early game junglers due to his quick clear and smart pathing. With this amount of gold right before he recalls, he's able to pick up Noon Quiver, an extremely strong early game spike, and then look to influence the map. The easiest way to gank on Viego is exactly like what's about to happen. Throw down your E along a large wall to gain a huge zone of stealth. With this you gain move speed and can start gap closing onto your target. Even if they know where you generally can come from, they can't see you when you charge your W in the cloud, and you can really surprise people with a max charge. Similarly to viego, you can hold W, flash, and release, and you'll get an extremely hard to dodge CC that comes from stealth. He's able to win another crab from this exchange, and then full clear his entire jungle in just 125, an extremely fast pace. Take note as to how he does multiple camps like Blue and Gromp at the same time to take advantage of AoE. Getting this clear to be just as quick will be the key to opening up doors for you, like in the rift that he's about to get. On top of great clear speed on camps, you also have insane single target damage to help secure objectives. With his level lead on the enemy jungler, he looks to brute force the Herald and then can continue by invading and ganking. Just from these couple of plays and by having a fast clear, he is decently ahead of Nidalee, but this is where it starts to look really insane. He sees Nidalee under tower at full HP and then just kills her almost instantly. This same kind of playstyle can work really well for all ranks. Just by cycling your camps quickly and getting on map to invade, gank, and do neutral objectives, you can be very consistent in getting leads. It pretty much ensures that you won't fall behind as long as you make sure to make adaptations like the initial invade to not lose camps for free. When you're even a little bit ahead, the champion just goes insane. He is very much a champion that needs gold to function, but he definitely has all the tools needed in order to get it. A couple of other important things to know are that your R, as well as transforming into an enemy champion after a kill, makes you untargetable, so you can easily use both of these to dodge CC. Don't be afraid to use R just as a gap closer or escape, even if it doesn't do damage. It's the only long range dash you have and the only thing that can go over walls except for a few corners that you can traverse with W. You will get resets of it during fights, so it's not a big deal to use it if it helps you get in a position to do more damage or survive longer in the fight. Speaking of those two things, we need to bring up runes as well as item builds. Viego wants to fight over a long period of time, but also needs to do enough damage to kill targets quickly. This is why his build was so confusing when he first came out. Most players chose to build him with Gore Drinker, but he didn't really have any damage if you went that route. Now everyone is going Kraken Slayer into Bork. With these two items and your double hit passives, you can completely shred everything, and from then on can itemize completely to survive longer in teamfights to get multiple Rs off and clean up. Third item can be something like Sterex, Visage, or Titanic Hydra, or even something like Randuin's if the game calls for it. Don't overstack your damage. You just need 2 items to kill everything, and after that point it's just all about living. Another bait item is Guardian Angel, as you won't be able to have your revive if you transform into other champions, so you just want raw stats. As for runes, Conquer, Last Stand, Triumph, and Ravenous Hunter are all completely core as they let you achieve all of your goals that we mentioned before. Legend Alacrity can be changed to Tenacity if you need it, but this is going to be your standard page for pretty much every game. When you're teamfighting, be really careful about diving in right away, and instead try to do your best to stay at the outskirts of fights and hit what's in front of you. You are a squishy melee champion until a lot of items that has a very hard time getting out of the fight unless you kill someone. That being said, you kind of have to play him like an assassin waiting for your moment to dive in, but you do way more damage to tanks and frontliners than any other champ that wants to play like that. Be patient and you will be rewarded by being able to clean up and go crazy with ults towards the end of the fight. The worst thing you can do is go in instantly and get blown up. So just hit what you can without taking too much damage and you'll see a lot of success. That pretty much wraps it up for the basics of Viego Jungle. We hope that you have an absolute blast playing him in solo queue, as like we said before, he's definitely just a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.